Hey YouTube, it's something fancy here with my first gun review. Today we're going to be reviewing the Walther P22. My friends and family often refer to me as the guy who knows absolutely nothing about guns. I tend to agree with that. There's not a whole lot that I do know about guns, but I think it's a little bit refreshing when we can get a review from somebody who, you know, doesn't pretend to know everything about guns. So that's why I'm doing this review. I'm a bit of a rebel, you know. I don't abide by safe gun rules because I think that's shit. You know, I have my own gun safety tips, and I think I'm going to go over them with you right now. I don't recommend that any of you try to take on my gun safety tips because, you know, it works for me because I am good at what I do, and that's staying alive. So, here we go. My first gun safety rule is to always keep your gun pointed at someone or something. And I just want to tell you guys a story. The other day, I'm talking to my neighbor. His name's Frank Yugateri, okay? He looked ill. I was trying to keep my distance. You know, I didn't want to get sick. And to be honest, Frank looked like he was 2 seconds away from becoming a zombie. I kid you not. And he was just babbling on and on and on about his rose bushes that I don't even care about. But in that situation, if I had had my gun on me, the encounter with Frank, it would have been much different. You know what I mean? I would have held him at gunpoint the entire time, and I would have been able to actually listen to him speak and not be in fear of my life the entire time. So it's just something to keep in mind, okay? Second rule that I have is I always keep my finger on the trigger. And, you know, life and death, most of the time they're only separated by mere seconds. And I'm just going to leave it at that. If you think you have that mere second to put your finger on the trigger and acquire your target, you go ahead. I don't have that kind of time. My thought process, my brain, it cannot process information that quickly. Well, I would get into the specifics of that, but let's just say that I fell off of a tall building when I was young, and I hit my head, so there were some problems with that. My last rule is that I always keep my firearm loaded. This is a no-brainer. I mean, what good is a gun with no bullets? And I'll tell you honestly what good a gun with no bullets is. It's good to be a fucking coaster, you know? You might as well just put your soda, your beer on it, because it's not worth anything else, at least not to me. Now let's go back to me for a minute before we actually bring out the Walther P22, because I'm sure that a lot of people are trying to figure out, okay, who are you? What qualifies you to review a gun? And to answer that question, there's absolutely nothing that qualifies me to review a gun, okay? But I am the kind of guy who walks into a gun store and I buy guns based off of the way they look. If a gun looks awesome, I'm inclined to buy it, you know? I don't really care about anything else. I just want to be able to say, hey, look at this cool gun, Frank, or hey, Billy, check out this cool gun I got. You know? That's the way I am. If there's a scratch on the gun, you just better send that shit back. You know, don't even waste my time with it. The guys at the gun store hate me because I'll walk in and I will inspect the gun, and if there's any scratches on it, I just basically say, hey, send it back to whoever manufactured it and get me a gun with no scratches. Because at the end of the day, when I come home from a long day of work, I want to be able to smoke my pipe and look at my gun. And, you know, I just want to be able to do that and see no scratches and have my gun be in pristine condition. That's pretty much it with me. Like I said, I go based off looks. Functionality comes a distant second. So we've got the Walther P22 here. We've got the black slide. This plastic, I think it's some kind of a polymer. I'm not really sure what it is, but it's plasticky feel to it, and it's a greenish color. The light's kind of dim in here, but I'm sure you can make it out. First talking point is awesome factor. Obviously, I own this gun, so it's awesome. It looks awesome. I think it was used in one of the James Bond's movies. I think it was the Casino Royale. Correct me if I'm wrong in my comment section, but I'm pretty sure it was used in a movie. And it's one of those guns that you can take a Facebook photo with, and you'll feel like, hey, you know what? I look like a badass. At the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? I'm glad you agree with me. Second talking point. Can this fucker kill shit? And I'm going to go ahead and say no. And the reason why, yeah, 22 caliber bullet could probably kill you, but this thing just jams over and over and over again. And I would tell you why it jams, but I really don't know why. I've fed 5 to 6 different types of ammunition through it, and it just repeatedly jams. And I've got a friend who also has the same gun, and his also jams. So really what it is a big pile of shit. So yeah, gun does jam. Keep that in mind before you purchase this gun. This is a question I think that especially with the times we live in now with the H1N1, it's a valid question. Will the gun jam while I'm killing zombies? And I get this a lot from kids around the neighborhood asking me, are you ever afraid that your gun's going to jam when you're killing zombies? This gun will jam on you while you're killing zombies. I wouldn't recommend it as a sidearm. If I was being attacked by zombies, I'd be more inclined to throw the gun at them than actually try to fire this gun. Because, like I said, it would jam on me. I also get this question a lot. How much does it weigh? I get tired easily. I don't think it weighs more than a pound, but I constantly get old people asking me about gun weight. I guess they like to go out and do like a 5-mile hike, even though they need a hip replacement, and they don't like to carry anything that's heavy. Normally when an old person asks me, hey, what gun do you recommend? I recommend them the Walther P22, because I know that, number one, should they get into any kind of encounter while they are hiking, they're most likely dead. And if by some miraculous chance they do have the ability to actually pull out their weapon, I don't know, they're old, Why not roll the dice here with a P22, If it goes off, maybe you kill the jaguar that jumped out of the trees at you. If it doesn't go off, maybe you get mauled. That's the chance you take as an old person when you're out hiking and doing dangerous things. That's just my take on it. Maybe you disagree. That's fine. We can disagree. Next talking point. How does it make me feel when I hold it? When I hold it, it doesn't really... I guess it makes me feel... Because see, the goal that I'm going for when I hold the gun is I want to feel cool. And when I held this thing in the gun store, I felt like a badass, okay? But now that I know that this gun just will not fire without jamming, I pretty much feel defenseless. So that's what I'm going to have to go with on this one. I feel defenseless with the Walther P22. And the last question, or the last part of our talking points here is it hard to take apart? I'm stupid. And it's a legitimate question. A lot of people are retarded and they don't know how to take things apart. And I'm going to show you guys right now how to take the Walther P22 apart. So you're just going to pull back the slide here. Okay. Now if you look here on the bottom, it's got 2 little plastic clips on each side. Alright. There's one here, one there. Now what you want to do is you want to pull down on these, okay? Alright. Want to pull, just want to pull down on... Alright, so obviously this is a design flaw here. Pieces of plastic that do not move when a person has to take their gun apart. I don't know. I've only taken it apart once and it took me like 3 hours to get it back together. But yeah, I don't know. That's just a bad design flaw. You're supposed to be able to take this thing apart and then it slides back and some of the other stuff inside the gun comes out, but I really don't know how to do that, so I'm not gonna... I would take a screwdriver actually and try to get this out, but I don't want to scratch it, so I'm not gonna mess with that. So this is the review of the Walther P22. It's a very cool looking gun, but it's also a gun that It just doesn't really fire very well unless you like to clear a jam every other round. So again, this is something fancy. I'm the know nothing about guns guy, and I hope you enjoyed this review.